We play for keeps, Cuddy. You ain't heard about the huddle fire with no with D-Lane. We tryna get it off the muscle. Walters caught the pick and ran it back without a tussle. Blow the whistle, coach is trying to get back to the huddle.
Welcome to the 510 Huddle podcast. It's your boy, Coach D Lane, in the building with my brother, my guy, Keaton. How you doing today, brother?
It was a great day, bro. Football's back, and it was definitely an exciting day for sure.
Yes, yes, we're back on the huddle today to give you this week one recap. And it was definitely an interesting week one, man. I gotta say, on Twitter this morning, I was on Twitter scrolling through on the timeline, seeing somebody say, "Man, these morning games suck." I was like, "You sure about that?"
Uh,
I was like, "You sure about that?" Second
the first
half,
half
man.
sucked.
The first half, but you know me, I'm a defensive guy.
Yeah, for
I can
sure.
enjoy those type of outings and performances. But the second half they turned up, and it was an amazing morning slate, and the whole week one in general. It was just a great amount of football. Let me see. We got left. Oh, okay. That Sunday night game just ended. We'll get to that in a second. My bad. I was just checking out this NFL Network. I thought they were showing the highlights of this other game. Excuse me. Anyway, let's start here though, brother, because we got a lot to talk about. We're gonna talk a little fantasy football. We'll touch on the Monday night game as well, Seattle versus the Broncos, and then we'll also end with the Sunday night game that just happened, Tampa versus the Cowboys. So let's start here though, because I want to talk about this game specifically. The Steelers versus the Bengals. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Um, I ended up when I ended up on my bet slip. I ended up taking the Steelers again. Yeah, I took the Steelers in the points, 6.5 against the spread. So they ended up winning and covering. So that was great for me. But very interesting game. What was your thoughts, brother?
Ultimately, I was disappointed. I was disappointed on a few fronts. First off, with Cincy, that that newly shaped offensive line is definitely still a work in progress. It's going to take them a little bit longer to gel than I thought. It just goes to show you that talent, even though that it is important, your chemistry is just as important. Um, and Joe um, definitely was not his best showing. I think that's very safe to say that that was the worst game of his young NFL career so far, and probably the worst game of his football life. Um, Not everything was his fault because he was getting pressured and hit, but five turnovers for him, that is, yeah. There's not a whole lot that I can say. Jamar Chase looked awesome as always. He's he is a stud. Um, but since his defense is very good, it's hard for me to really gauge them. Just because that Pittsburgh offense is basically what it's been the last 2 years now. Except now it's just with Mitch and not with Big Ben. Um, the Steelers' offense is disappointing. You have all that skill, talent, and you force five turnovers, and your offense scores what 16 points. That is this disappointing. And like, I know the easy thing is to say it's Mitch, and because there's this he has like a narrative around him, but ultimately that offensive line is awful, and I do not like the Steelers offensive game plan at all. Chase Claypool, although he is a weapon type of player, he should never be more he should never be more effective in the run game than in the pass game. That should never happen. So I'm not a fan of their offense. I'm not a fan of their I'm not a fan of their approach. And it pretty much just boiled down to which team got luckier today for me. Since he should have, despite the five turnovers, since he still should have won that game. I think that just, if you're a Steelers fan, I think that just shows the gap between Cincy and the Steelers ultimately. But that's all that I can really say. It was an interesting game. It was pretty much exciting for the wrong reasons, I guess you could say, and
Yeah.
there was a lot of disappointment to
No,
go around.
you kind of said it earlier. Lucky, man. That's the one takeaway that I think you have to be having right now if you're a Steelers fan. You're lucky, man, because I believe one less, maybe two less turnovers by Cincy, who ended up committing 5 turnovers. I believe they win that game by 10 points, probably 10 or more points, man. So Trubisky, another thing I came away with is what I already been telling you, brother. Trubisky's just not it for me, man. I do see it with his legs. He adds that dynamic to escape the pass rush and whatnot. But I'm just not seeing it. Like you said, you got too many weapons, man. You drafted this kid, like I said, brother. This would have been a perfect game to start Kenny Pickett. I get it. It's a division game versus a tough rival opponent in the Pittsburgh Steelers, or excuse me, in the Cincinnati Bengals. But you got to see what you got, man. You got to see right now, right away. Tonight they would have known, can this guy compete with the other three quarterbacks in our division? Now you don't know. But with
Yeah.
Trubisky, yeah, how do you feel about that? As far as what was your takeaway from Trubisky? Do you feel like they still should just keep going with Trubisky?
Um, I would say at the beginning of the offseason, I was saying that they should just start him and stick with him. Then I saw Kenny play, and then I came around on that a little bit. It's just hard, man, because their offensive line is so bad. I get that he started for 4 years in college and he should be ready, but I still don't know if he has the physical capabilities and the mental toughness to overcome something like that. It's hard to really know. So I get why they went with Mitch. So I definitely do not can condemn them for that. But I'll say this: if they're looking like that the next week or two, and let's just be real, I don't even know what their schedule is, but if they keep playing like that, especially now with TJ Watt out, they're likely not going to win many more games. So at that point,
Another
I'll
reason,
like I was
another
just
reason you
just
should
playing
play the
them.
bull. Another reason
Yeah,
why you
like I
should
was
play the
just
young
playing them.
bull. Another reason why you should play the young bull. Play Kenny Pickett, man.
One
My
percent.
last point on that game. First of all, we all know Chase is special. That one hand that he caught that was out of. I really thought that was inbounds, but it was a nice catch, man.
Yeah,
That one was nice, and then the Kilo Witherspoon, terrible technique on that low red zone. The play that they scored to tie the game up, Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase on a quick rollout, quick 3 5 yard rollout, and they're in man coverage, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Witherspoon's just backing up in the low red zone. What are you? You're backing up out of bounds. You going to back out? You're going to backpedal out of bounds to the back of the end zone. Like, what are you doing? That makes no
that's
sense.
what speed does.
Like, you got
I
to
mean,
pat your feet and catch that, man. You cannot backpedal in the low red zone as a DB. I'm telling you that you will get cooked every time.
I know,
You
like
gave
it's
him the
true.
one way go. You gave the out right away.
I know,
So
like it's true, but that's what speed does. I mean, Jamar is different, man.
no, he nice.
He like he's gonna make a lot of players play differently.
He nice. Let's move on to his next game, man.
Yeah.
Baker versus his old team, the Browns. I thought Baker was going to pull it through for a second. I actually stayed away from this game. I was kind of scared, even though my heart was telling me I should go with the Browns, just because I believe Denzel Ward, Miles Garrett, and those boys on defense would be hungry, and they was. But yeah, that was my fault. I should have bet that one, but the Browns ended up holding on. What's your thoughts on that one, brother?
Just quickly, Browns offense is stale. They're going to be very limited. Um, Amari Cooper, he's going to have a difficult year, and it's not going to be all of his fault. Um, Jacoby Brissett, I always
Yeah.
thought he had a little bit more ability than what he had, so that's on me from
I thought he had
So
more than what he showed today. It
that's what
looked
I,
bad. It
yeah.
looked
I
bad today.
mean, Carolina's defense is very, very good, but that was something else. So I'll leave it there. So Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, they're definitely going to be earning their money in these next couple of weeks. The Browns defense, they showed up just like I thought. Um, and I want to give love to Baker because he's just a fighter. Um, when they were getting their butts kicked like that, it would have been easy for him and them to just fold it up. But
Yeah.
kudos to kudos to him and kudos to them for taking the lead. And that's the other thing. It's one thing to just make it respectable or make it seem like it was good, but they took the lead, and I think we all thought that they were going to win, especially with the amount of time that was left, and based on what Jacoby Brissett and that Browns offense pretty much looked like the entire day. Um, so so pretty much credit to them. I have the Browns going into it. They pretty much did what I thought. I just didn't know that that offense would look as bad as it did.
Yeah, I thought the offense would look a little better for the Browns as well. Amari Cooper was actually open a few times, and
I don't
Brissett
know.
just missed him. Yeah, Brissett just openly missed him. So Nick Chubb and the guys did their thing. Kareem Hunt in the pass game did his thing as well. To help out a little bit. I thought I'll see a little more of Njoku at tight end. I thought we'll see a
Hmm.
little more from him as well. Usually Brissett leans on his tight ends. We didn't really see that too much. But I will say the same thing though, brother. I will shout out Baker for fighting back, pulling his team back into that game because it did look like they were about to get routed up for a second. But he fights them back in and actually takes the lead at the end of the game for a quick second. But yeah, so that's all I got on that game. You got anything else on that one?
No, I think both teams probably won't win a whole lot of games, but they'll definitely
What's up
make it
with people?
interesting.
Have you been hearing people pick the before week one? Did you hear people picking the Panthers too to
Yes,
win
I
that
did.
to win that
I,
division? What the fuck? I was like, I didn't see that.
I,
I was like, people tripping. The Panthers to win the division? Nah. I like the defense. They were pretty good last year, especially early
yeah,
on. But nah. I'm not seeing that. I like the front.
like
I really like their front, but nah.
I get why, or I should say, like I hear why people were, um, but ultimately, for me, I think Baker's a good player, but I don't think he's good enough to overcome all of those deficiencies that they really have. And I don't think just getting an offensive tackle at the sixth pick is pretty much enough to fix your offensive line woes. And that's it.
Let's move to the other local team, our main local team, and then we'll get to the out of state local team, the Las Vegas Raiders. But let's start with the San Francisco 49ers, man. On the road in an ugly, muddy game, ugly rain game in Chicago versus the Chicago Bears. They end up falling. And this one pissed me off, bro. They end up falling like 19-10, right? They end up falling 19-10. This one pissed me off because this was one of my locks for the week.
Like,
Just about on all my tickets. Yeah, brother, just about on every one of my. So for the most part, I hit
yeah,
more on the player props this weekend than I
yeah.
did on the team one. I still need Russ to give me at least two passing touchdowns tomorrow. That's easy money. But the team bets for me this weekend, they all got killed and blew up by the damn Niners, man. I did not see this one. You were kind of close on this as far as just
Yeah.
saying it would be an ugly game and that it would be a lot closer than what everybody else was saying. Did you say that because of the weather? I started hearing about the
No,
weather yesterday, and I would have changed my pick, bro. I really would have changed my pick if I fuck at least as far as probably picked Chicago and the spread. If I knew it was that bad, I didn't know the weather was that bad. So yeah,
no, I did not. I had no idea about the weather until I tuned in.
yeah, that was
I
crazy.
guess for me, I just I just thought that Fields, despite however he looked throughout the game, or like how that offense looked, I thought he could make two plays that could keep them in it, and that's what he did. He made two throws the entire day, and that was basically enough. Um, and I thought he could do that, and I thought Trey Lance would not at this point. And I want to give a shout out to Trey because he was able to make some more routine throws than I would have given him credit for, especially in that weather. And he made some very nice throws. Ultimately, um, he just it's just the inexperience and the penalties. They have what 11 penalties, and the Bears had zero. So that was your game right there, Niners. Um, if you guys don't have all of those penalties and you play the cleaner game, you guys win. But shout out to the Bears, man. I mean, it was one of those games where the whole world said no and they said yes,
And brother,
and
before
that's
you
what it
dive
was.
deeper, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I want to
I know
stop
you're
you
good.
where you were talking as far as penalties, because I gotta put some of that and most of that on my coach of the year, Kyle Shanahan, man. Shanahan, man. And I just believed I thought he would call a lot better of a game for Trey. You can't I can't you're not supposed to walk away from that game and feel like it was ugly for Fields as well, but I felt like they called a better game for Fields. I don't know, like I don't know. Like the run game looked fine, in spurts, especially before Mitchell went down with an injury. Um, but I know Trey missed a shot ball, right? I think he missed
Mhm.
one as well. So but I don't know, man. It didn't look like a game plan that was fit to make Trey comfortable. And maybe some of that is due to the weather and he had to change his game plan on the fly. Maybe they got the news about the weather late too. So, I don't want to put it all on Shanahan, but at the same time, like you're going against a team that's not supposed to be that talented with a young quarterback, and you have a young quarterback with a bunch of blue chippers. I can't put much of this game on Trey. Like it's up. You supposed to be a elite coach, a elite play caller, and offensive mind. Like you got to call a better and cleaner game for the kid. And then yeah, they got to play smarter and more sound and
Mhm.
disciplined football as well.
The only thing that I will say to that is I do believe penalties are a product of coaching, but also with this team specifically, they have enough veterans and they have a standard set to where they should have just performed better. Also with the offensive game plan, I actually didn't hate it. This is what I think for Trey. Kyle has to call a lot more things outside of the numbers because of Trey, and he can be a little hit and miss. Um, and those throws today, in large part, well, I shouldn't say in large part, but he was able to hit more. He was able to hit more of those throws than what I thought. Um, and he also has to learn this. I saw his frustration come into play later on in the game where he would just take off running and try and like take on the defensive players. I hope that they dive into film and he really learns from this week. And I'll say
Some of
that.
it is what is running. Some of it is him protecting himself as well. But
Mhm.
that's some of the reason why I didn't like the game plan as far as some of the runs involving Trey. They seen it first, and I'm actually saying this to give you your credit. Give me a second, but I'm pissed off because Kyle should have seen this first, especially in practice and joint practices, whatever. I know they don't hit the quarterback, but the way Trey runs, bro, I don't know if it's because he's young. I know I asked somebody and compared them to Josh Allen or whatever. Maybe it was unfair because the kid is still young, but when he runs, is it me or does he look timid? Like I really see what you were talking about when you was like, I don't
Yeah,
know if he's really that threat as far as with the
he's
legs, like everybody was saying. Like I remember you've been saying that for weeks now, brother, and
yeah.
I thought he had a little more juice compared to man. I don't know.
Mm.
He just he ran different last year to me compared to what I seen today. I don't know if it's the rain, the weather, whatever. I don't know, but he looked timid today when he was running compared to when Fields had to be on the scramble because for the most part they were playing in the same conditions.
Hmm.
Fields did not look timid. Fields looked like a dog. He looked like he had that it factor, like you said. He only made two throws of the really in the entire game, but that's that it factor. It was those two throws that mattered. You feel me? Trey missed one of his, so
Yeah.
yeah. He
Well,
runs real timid to me, brother. Trey
well,
Lance.
the only thing that I can say to that is when you're comparing the two of them, and this is what I've been saying, and this is kind of like why I said like if they wanted the quarterback with like the higher ceiling, quote unquote, when they were drafting, they should have taken Fields because Fields can do more things than Fields is just a better specimen than Trey is. Trey is like a good athlete for the position, but he's not. I don't think he'll ever be one of those guys that'll be one of like the top 3 to 5 dual threats. I really don't, just because I don't think he's the athlete that people built him up to be. I really don't.
Quick comparison, and of course I think he's faster than this guy. We might have to look at the numbers, shit. But Pat doesn't even run that timid, and I'll say he's more in like that class with like Pat Mobile.
I would
Pat
say
Mahomes.
the athleticism, yeah, but
Yeah, that's what I meant.
here's the
Athleticism and mobility. Yeah,
but Pat's a better athlete though
you think
in
so?
terms of because so this is Pat's baseball background with it too, just from like the standpoint of like his short area quickness and being able to bend. Trey is a pretty stiff athlete from what I've seen from him. Like he might put out like the same numbers, but I think you can say I think that this is the best way to say it. For you playing DB, as you know, there are guys that'll put out the same testing, but on the field, some guys just move differently. That's kind of like what Trey is like. Like Trey's the guy that'll put up similar numbers to maybe Patrick Mahomes. Like he won't move the same. Like
Yeah,
that's how I could say it.
yeah, because Pat doesn't run that timid at all.
No.
And man, like I said, we understand it's his first year under him, under the helm of being the full time starting quarterback for the Niners. But he played a little bit last year, man. So I was expecting a little more in the run game than that, at least for me personally. But my last note on this game, do you got anything else on this game? Because my last note
Mm,
was Kyle still has a losing record without Jimmy G.
yes, that is true. And I'll say this: I'm gonna cut the kid slack, and we'll see how he looks next week. Because I think next week they have another winnable game. But like I said, if they lose this game, which they did to an inferior team, clearly, and all the other quarterback had to do is make one or two plays, which their guy, for whatever the reasons were, could not. That Jimmy G talk in the locker room, forget the media, it's gonna start coming at some point.
Oh, they got Seattle next week, so Seattle, that's a winnable game. One, I
Yeah.
already said that I wouldn't get on the kid like that as well, brother, just because I want to give some of the blame towards Shanahan and calling a cleaner game for the kid. The other thing I will note, I also forgot about. We talked about it before the game. George Kittle being out, and especially for any young quarterback, most quarterbacks, even the elite ones, they love a good tight end because for the most part your tight end is the guy that's going to clear the middle out for you. That's your security blanket. He can do the and an elite tight end like Kittle can also run block, so he would have been able to help maybe make that run game look a little more elite. I'm not sure, but we'll see. He should be back for week 2. I think that's what he said on the
Yeah.
sideline. Yeah.
Oh wait, one last thing. This is not Trey's fault, but again, I think for where the 49ers roster is, or where we all think that it is, he's just in an unfair situation for him where he's not going to be afforded the real time that he needs to get to really get to where people think that he can be. And that's unfortunate for him. So I hope he bounces back next week, and we shall see.
Got you. Let's move on to the Raiders versus the Chargers. This was a pretty good game, especially at
Yeah.
the end. A little disappointing on the Raiders side. I thought that the team would be a little more well prepared and a little more and play the offense just would have came to play a little more, especially early on in the game. So early on, my analysis for the Raiders is, one of my biggest question marks coming into the season was Josh McDaniels. Being able to lead a team and be a leader of men. Not saying that he didn't lead well, he didn't lead them to a victory today. That's obvious. Not saying doesn't have control in his locker room, but he didn't lead his team to a victory today. And the side of the ball that he's supposed to be an expert on today didn't look very crisp. So, and Derek Carr looked very vanilla playing game today. I will say Devontae Adams is that dude out there routing shit up per usual. That last touchdown catch he had, oh my God, it was a Carr threw the out route to him. He had to extend his full body, all hands, snatched it, rolled out of bounds. Tay Adams is that dude. That was one of my takeaways, and then Herbert's the truth, man. Like Pat's still my guy. But I wouldn't argue with you if you put Herbert and Allen right there, man. And to be honest, right now, if we talking about like today after week 1, I would probably take Allen just because of the mobility factor. Like he got that dog to him when he run. Like I like man, any of Cali kids too, man. I'm all in on Josh Allen,
I
man. I'm sorry
told
to turn
you.
this into yeah, I'm sorry to turn
I
this into
told
a
you.
Josh
He a
Allen
dog, bro.
quick mini episode, but yeah, man, Herbert is the truth too though. That kid can make all the throws, man, from different platforms, just like Pat and the rest of the elite guys. He was still making throws, unbelievable throws, even when Keenan Allen went down. So yeah, shout out to all those guys.
So quickly on that, Tay Adams definitely is that dude still. And the Raiders, to me, so Carr, he didn't play great. I think that's easy. But overall, this is what I'll say to people who are picking the Raiders to actually win the division. They are not talented enough across the board to not win to so to win games without playing clean football. They don't have the luxury to have penalties, turnovers, or any other mistakes and still win games. I think people who are buying into that Raiders hype are buying into the star power on that team, and they don't really have a lot of star power outside of Tay and maybe Darren Waller. I think Derek Carr is arguably a top 10 quarterback, but the team as a whole, they don't have a lot of talent. Um, so I think that they're going to find themselves on pretty much the short end if they have games like that. And to sum it up, I do think the Chargers are going to be a really good team this year. And Herbert is he's just one of those, like I told you, man, like I rated him 3. I love Justin Herbert. He, and I put him over Burrow because of how like he can throw with such power and touch and do it anywhere at all times. He's
Brother.
different with
No,
that.
I love that, brother. I love that. Right now, I'm not sure what our rankings was before. Of course, it's changing now. We're on a week to week basis. We're covering this shit, but I will say I'm gonna put Burrow ahead of Herbert right now, and it's not even so much because he got to the Super Bowl last year. I've just seen this kid come back time and time again. We've seen Herbert last year. He had an opportunity to take his team to the playoffs in a similar situation against the Raiders. He couldn't get it done. Wasn't all his fault, but I'm just saying, everything ain't always Burrow's fault. But shit, today he had four turnovers, and he still brought his team all the way back. They didn't win, but he brought them back. Is what I'm saying. I've just seen that a few times now from that young guy. I haven't seen Herbert deliver that a few times.
I
The
mean,
same
look,
amount.
like when I rated him third and Burrow fourth, like you're splitting hairs. You could have flipped a coin for me. ultimately, as like I bet on the physical gifts, and you can teach some of the other stuff. And Herbert's one of those few guys in this league that just has stuff that you cannot teach.
Yeah, Herbert. I feel like those two specifically career wise. I feel like they're gonna play out like Brady Manning ish. Even though Herbert has a more electric arm than Manning. Even though
Yeah,
Peyton Manning is elite, but this kid has an electric arm. But as far as just stylistically how their careers ended up shaping out, because like I said, I really feel like Burrow has that Brady factor where it's like he's never out, bro. Like you can never count this guy out at any point in a ball game. If he has seconds on that clock, Jamar Chase and those weapons, mixing T. Higgins and the crew, he can get something done. I've seen it too many times, even dating back to LSU. I just seen him pull shit out of his hat. And like I said, I've seen Herbert in these same positions, and I haven't seen him pull it through a few times, brother. So that's the one. So that's kind of like Brady and Manning. Brady. Brady will always pull through on some late clutch shit. And then had his 2 or 3 years, where he won his two, but he win another year. But I think I could see that playing out between those two guys.
my last rebuttal to that is I do like Cincy skill players more than the Chargers, as you know, for me.
Yeah, but that's a given because since he
But like, I'm
well
just
yeah
saying,
because
like, if
the
Justin
Chargers don't
had
have much
those type of
speed.
dudes,
Yeah, the Chargers don't have that
like
much
with his
speed.
arm, with that deep arm, I just think that it'd be a little bit different. But that's just me. But
Yeah,
anyways,
the Chargers don't have much speed at all, bro.
no,
Before
they
we
need to
move
draft
on
that.
to this next game, brother, I just gotta say this, man. I gotta say it because it's a few young receivers that put themselves. I can't say they put themselves on the map because we've been on about these guys, but I think they're taking that step into superstardom, and possibly one guy I believe is stepping in the top five by the end of this year, and the other guy I don't believe he's gonna take Tay's spot at number one just because I seen what Tay did, and he hasn't lost a step. He still got it. He's still getting busy, but Jefferson is coming for that number one spot. Like man, and Chase is up there too. I just love Jefferson. He's coming for it. That young bull is nice. And then AJ Brown. Hey, I'm gonna talk. We could talk about my Eagles next. But AJ Brown, brother, I didn't watch a ton of Ole Miss. I didn't watch a ton of Tennessee
I
games.
did,
No, a
unfortunately.
few. I know you did. I watched
Unfortunately,
the big Tennessee games within the last couple years. When they play big games and when they make it to the playoffs. Brother, I didn't know this kid. Like when I'm watching him play for my Eagles, first of all, he just fits us perfectly. Fits us, the city, the team, and just the culture, the background of the team. He reminds me of like a baby To, bro. That's what
that's what I said.
that's really what it reminded me
Yeah,
of today. Seeing that
it
kid go deep,
is.
long by guys, being aggressive, and I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I like him more than DK, and it's not even just because he on my team. It's just because it seemed like he run harder, bro. Like DK more of a freak for sure. It's faster too, but like his kid is just like he runs with that aggressiveness, like that Debo like aggressiveness. That like that. I love him, bro. I love AJ Brown.
So really quick on that. Um, I watched a lot of Ole Miss games, and I'll say this: when those two were on the field, it literally felt like Ole Miss was trying not to win games because they didn't throw them the ball.
Yeah. With
Like
Lane Kiffin though, wasn't Lane their
Lane,
OC?
no, Lane
Oh,
wasn't that because Lane was still at Bama. Literally, they did not have good quarterback play, but the offensive design, but like that game plan and those plays, they were not like they weren't the 1 and 2 reads like half the time, and it made no sense. I'm
do you?
like watching them. I'm like,
Yeah.
you have these two dudes that are freaks of nature, and they're wide open, and you don't throw it to them. Like it made no sense. But anyways,
Do,
go on.
what do you think about that, brother? Do you think by the end of the year you think AJ could be top five? Arguably,
Yeah,
arguably.
yeah, of course. I mean I think I can dive deeper into this receiver subject at like a later date, but like I said when we were doing these rankings, there's 20 top 10 receivers. Like literally,
The pool
there's
is getting deeper. I will
like
say that
there's like
because the
20
talent.
guys that you can say,
I will
like
say
if
it.
somebody said they're top 10, like I might not agree necessarily for me, but that doesn't mean that you're wrong.
Like even for both of us, we both had Scary Terry in ours, and a lot of people probably wouldn't have Scary Terry in theirs.
Yeah, exactly.
But I will say this might be the deepest the NFL's ever been at the receivers position, man. Like it is a
Yes.
lot, and it's growing, bro. Like with the
Yeah.
George Pickens of the world and stuff, like it's just crazy amounts of talent coming in at that position. That's why these DBs, man. I will say, man, my DBs, man, we gotta step our game up. Mentioning DBs though, I will say my Eagles for the most part, we did our thing today. I will say my squad did their thing, but Jonathan Gannon is gonna piss me off, bro. As our DC, like he's just too conservative,
Yeah.
and he doesn't call enough. And I'm not even a blitz guy. And this is coming from a guy I truly do not like blitzing a lot.
I
But
don't either,
one of those
especially
guys
with
like
these core quarterbacks now.
that too. And then like Croc said, man, with blitzing the least, I'm gonna pick your spots kind of guy. Like I'm gonna roll the dice here and there, but it's not gonna be all the time. It's gonna be calculated. He never likes to. It's like he just doesn't like to run the blitz, man. We never generate like the Lions came out was generating way more pressure than us. Hit us in our mouth a few times early. I was pissed, but we end up, taking over, handling our business. Jalen Hurts hitting AJ Brown a few times deep today. I believe AJ had like 9 or 11 catches for 140 something. I will say the one thing I'm frustrated with, brother, and I peeped it when we got AJ, and I've been peeping it this whole time leading up to game one. First of all, you can't forget about my guy Smitty, man. You just can't forget about Smitty.
Hmm.
First and foremost, you just drafted this kid in the first round last year. Feel me? Like I don't want to lose this kid in free agency. Just me personally, I love this kid, man. I really feel like Devontae is nice. And secondly, AJ had like 9 or 11 catches, like I said today. I'll look it up in a second. He caught like 3, maybe even 4, 5 screens today. Those gotta go to Devontae, bro. In Quez. I don't think Quez had a catch at all today. Like the quick stuff gotta go to those two guys if AJ is gonna be our downfield threat. Because he damn near probably had 100 yards just going downfield if you take away his screen yards. So that's what I'm saying. Like those screens gotta go to the other guys. I definitely just want to see a spread the sugar around a little more. But what I will say that I do like about my team, brother, that it's something that carried over from last year. I think we Hurts threw 38 times today. That might be a career high for him. So you could tell Sirianni does want to put these new weapons on display and utilize them and show what we can do in the passing game. But today you've seen us also flip the switch whenever we wanted to, and a matter of fact, we had all rushing touchdowns. We didn't have a passing touchdown today. I love how we can convert back to the run game and be a elite running team. Like we just ran the shit down their throat whenever we wanted to. And my last point for my Eagles, brother, and then I'll let you go. Miles Sanders looks developed. Like he looked like I was watching Sunday Night Football. Zeke looked smaller
Hmm.
than look a little quicker, but Zeke looked smaller to me.
He
Miles
is.
Sanders, huh? He is, yeah. Miles
He
Sanders,
is.
brother. I don't know if you got a chance to watch him. That boy, he looked bigger, but he looked strong. He was bursting through the hole. He was running behind his shoulder pads. Got a few tough runs. He actually sealed the game for us late. But yeah, I want to shout out Miles Sanders, man. He definitely looked like he developed and took that next step in his game as well, and got in the end zone for the first time since 2020.
So I guess the first thing that I'll say is I definitely agree with you with that defensive approach. It, they called that game like they were playing Mahomes or Allen or Herbert. Like one of these young guys that like you just cannot blitz. I It was Jared Goff, bro. like
Brother,
he,
I want real quick. I'm sorry to cut you off again,
yeah. Oh yeah, go ahead.
because I know you didn't watch the whole game probably like I did. At one point, Golf threw 4 balls. The fourth one ended up getting picked off. The first 3, damn near all could have got picked off, bro. And I don't think we had sent
I
no
saw
pressure. Yeah, he had
I
like four
saw some
straight.
highlights.
It
Yeah.
was terrible.
That's Look, I guess those four throws pretty much sum up why the Rams made that trade. But anyways, um, I do kind of I know what you're saying with Smitty, and like in the grand scheme of things, I do agree with you. But I do think that he's more of a number two than he is like a 1A to AJ Brown. So I do think there are just going to be weeks where he's not going to be featured as much as you think he could or should. I think that's where he's going to be at his best as like a real number two guy. Like
Got you.
AJ is going
I
to be
still
like
think
the
he
volume
has.
guy.
I got you. I still think he has that one ability, but I feel like if you're a Smitty fan, Devontae Smith fan today, you got to walk away with the same feeling as if you're an Allen Robertson fan from Thursday. As far as just like the targets, man, that's all I'm saying. Like I said, the easy one, brother, the easy ones, the quick screens. Like
Yeah,
you can't be throwing the ball to AJ Brown all game. And like I said, we got Quez, a quick as hell, 4-3 guy. Come on, let's use him, man. Let's get him the ball with those quick screens. AJ's big as hell. Let his ass block.
the only
And then
thing
we
that I'll say
invested
is
so much in
this.
Devontae, we traded up to get him.
Yeah, but the only thing that I will say is this: AJ's better after the catch, and he's better with the ball in his hands.
Devontae
He
better route
plays
runner.
stronger. He plays stronger. He's just stronger. Period. And also, if your best player is dominating the game, I'm one of those people that doesn't like to take the ball away from them. I don't care what the
You
other
have.
guy's credentials are. I don't care what his feelings are. For me, sports is very simple when you boil it down to this. When your best player is hot, keep giving them the ball.
I will say this last point for me on my Eagles, last 2 points. Devontae would benefit uh, better with a more accurate quarterback. I've been saying
Yes.
that from day one because
Yes.
he's a pure route runner. He's
Mm-hmm.
a route runner type of receiver. So he needs an on time, consistently accurate quarterback to deliver him the football. And then my last point is Jordan Davis, man. I didn't watch the game up front as much as I should have. That's one of my downfalls when I watch football. I want to watch the game from the trenches and outside, from inside to with moving out more. But I didn't see him much. I'm pretty sure he got out there. He was out there, but I would definitely like to see him out there a little more, especially with Fletch. Like that's the thing I want to see. I want to see him and Fletch together. But maybe when we play more of a run team. But shit, the Swift was running, gashing our ass today. So yeah,
I think it's just gonna take. I think he's gonna be just fine. When he was in there, I won't say he was miss. Like he did his job.
yeah.
As long as you do that when you're a rookie, that's all that you can ask for. Like he did his job.
Got you. We're gonna move on. My last thing, Gannon, please just blitz a little more, bro. I was watching the game today. Slay and Bradbury is straps, bro. Stop acting like you ain't got fucking corners on the back end. You got corners, man. You can blitz a little bit. Anyway, let's move on here. Let's talk about famous Jameis, man. Jameis and my guy Mike T. They lost. The Saints lose to the Falcons, but they definitely come back and they have a good showing coming back in the second half. I actually feel like it was a little momentum to help them moving forward, especially Jay Boog, my guy Jameis, and Mike Thomas. What do you like from that game, brother?
That was one of the more frustrating games throughout the day. Like when people were saying like these when people were saying that these games suck, that game for 3 quarters did suck to
Yeah,
watch.
that was
Because
one
I
of the tough.
and for it was just baffling how bad and like conservative that they looked.
Excuse me. I really misspoke. I'm tripping. They actually won. I know
Yeah,
they came back.
I know. Like I was gonna go into that how like
Yeah,
they actually
next time get
did
on my
win.
ass, man. Don't let me get carried away with that. Yeah, I'm tripping. They came back and won that game. I don't know
Yeah,
what I'm talking about. I
but
thought they lost by one. I'm tripping.
nah. But
They won by
Michael
one.
Thomas, is back. Um, part and parcel because AJ Terrell wasn't always on him, and the Falcons are the Falcons. But he is back. He looked good. Jameis definitely has his number one guy, and I do think the Saints are going to be a 10 to 11 win team this year. Actually, you know what? I'm going to amend that because with how they looked today, that did kind of make me pause a little bit on them. So I'll say
Week
10
one,
wins.
brother. Week one.
I'll
It
say
was the
10
first
wins. I
half.
won't say plus.
Yeah.
I'll say
You know you
10.
gotta settle into the game though. It's week one, first half. They looked real
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
Um, but
Patterson
yeah,
looked Patterson looked good, brother, for the Falcons. He was running hard. He was running hard.
I also feel bad for Kyle Pitts because he's going to be one of those elite players that's stuck in a situation that is not ideal for him.
Yeah.
Um, but just real quick, I was proud of the way that they battled back. Jameis, he kind of showed what he did in a college with always coming back and like winning games. Um, Mariota actually had a solid day. It wasn't a great day or anything, but he actually had a pretty solid day. And I'm not huge on him. So kudos to him and also the Falcons for like at least making the game fun. Um, and yeah, I don't have a lot to say. The
I
Saints were the
forgot those two.
superior
I
team.
forgot Mariota beat Jameis in the championship. I forgot
Oh
about that.
yeah, oh yeah,
I
in the
think your
Final
ass made
Four.
me pick FSU too. I had FSU.
Well, Dalvin Cook had the worst game of his life. He fumbled 3 times when Jane James was driving. So that was when I got off the Dalvin Cook train. That was his true freshman year,
Got
and
you.
he fumbled 3 times.
Yeah,
So
that's what
I was
happened in the
at
game. I
that
remember
game
something
too.
happened.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
'cause that was
at
supposed to be
that
a good
game
game.
too.
Who
I
was
was
on
at
that
that
Oregon
game.
team, brother, with Mariota? Because that was supposed to be a good game. I remember that game.
Actually, all those star players that they had at like running back, they weren't there anymore. De'Anthony Thomas had already been gone. One of the Michael
Yeah,
James and all of them were already gone. So it was pretty much just him.
got you.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, but anyways, kudos to them. The Saints are clearly the more superior team, and in the end, in the fourth quarter when it mattered, I think the
got you.
talent deficit showed.
Yeah, we're winding down here. Got a couple more that we want to cover, and then the last few topics, and then we'll get out of here. Let's start with Pat, man. Patty Mahomes, boy. My guy Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid handles business, whoops the excuse me, he whoops the hell out of the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Pat looked like a well-oiled machine, man. Kyler, it's levels to this shit, bro. That's basically what he told Kyler today. Like,
Yeah.
it's levels to this shit. That was my takeaway from that game. They blew their ass out. What 44 to 14, 21, 44
21.
to 21. Yeah, Pat 30 for 39, 365 yards, and then the Pacheco kid. I think I picked him up in one of my leagues, man.
Mm-hmm.
He it was garbage time, but he had a pretty nice showing at running back, that
Yeah.
rookie running back. But yeah, what was your take on that game, brother?
This game's easy. Patrick Mahomes is the best player in all of football, and I don't want to hear anything else about it. Um, if you want to throw in Josh Allen for that discussion, sure. But I'm not just talking about quarterback, player. He is the best player. I don't care what the players voted on for the top 100 list, because that list, as we all know, was very interesting. That man is the best player, and it's not close. And he could have, and honestly, like the score could have been worse. Juju had the fumble before that the half, um, and that defense that they have, I think I'm not going to overreact because I'm not high on the Cardinals. I think Kyler, unfortunately for him, is it's not crap, but he kind of, and like what they kind of do is like they put lipstick on a pig. They're really not that good of a team as a whole. They just have an electrifying quarterback that kind of makes up for a lot of things. But that defense looks like they're going to be what I think that they can be at some point, which is a top 10 defense. I genuinely believe that. They are faster. They are never out of position. And I'm excited for this team. Like, this is my Super Bowl
Yeah,
pick. I won't say that they're going 17-0,
been high.
but
You've been high on their defense, brother. You know they
um,
put out a pretty good performance today. Some guys for the Cardinals was banged up
yeah,
though. No D Hop. My guy Ertz, he ended up playing, but he was hurt. I thought we would see a little more from Isabella. I thought we would see a little more from Hollywood Brown as well, but we didn't. And like I said earlier, I just came away with, hey, it's levels to this shit, Kyler. I know you just got your money, but hey, humble yourself, youngin.
hmm
I'm him.
yeah,
That's what I feel like Pat said. So
hmm
let's move
he's
on real
tired of
quick.
the disrespect
Yeah,
from
let's
people.
move on. I know you wanted to touch on this game. I actually had the Texans to cover, so I really don't have much to say on this game because
hmm
they handled business. I knew the Texans would be competitive. Yo hating ass was hating on my guy Lovey Smith. He got them boys playing competitive, man. A lot of people got the Colts winning that division. I don't see it. I think I still had Tennessee winning that
Nope.
division.
Well, I wasn't hating on Lovey Smith. I just thought that they were giving him absolutely nothing. Like, at
I
some
got you.
point, as like a
Got
coach, like, it doesn't matter what you like draw up. I mean, like, if you don't have the guys, like, it doesn't matter. But um, I think they traded for. I think the Colts traded for the wrong quarterback. I'm not a huge on Baker Mayfield, but Matt Ryan, his arm, man, he never had a he never had like an elite arm or like even like in a like a good to great arm. He always had like a league average arm, maybe like slightly below. He's lost a lot on that arm. Um, it's
it. Looked
not
like Big.
Drew.
I didn't watch much of that game. Did it look like Big Ben from the last couple of years, or
Not
not that bad?
quite, and like not that bad yet, but it's trending that it's trending toward that in what Drew Brees was in his last 2 to 3 years,
Got you. Got you.
and that's all I wanted. Oh, and Derek Stingley looked really nice, and
Yeah.
that's all I wanted to say.
Man, I thought I'd see a little more from my guy Pierce too. Didn't get the volume I thought. I guess they were splitting carries with him and Burkhead.
Well,
Burkhead.
like I said, that like that offensive line,
Yeah, it's not much.
it's just
Not much
yeah,
to work with.
no.
Last game, one of the last games. Then we got to touch on the Sunday night game. Green Bay versus Minnesota. I already said it earlier, man. Jefferson, he's coming for that number one spot. Tay Adams, you better handle your business, baby. Which you will do, because Tay showed up and did his thing today. But Jefferson is definitely coming from that number one spot. I gotta say, Cousins did look a lot more comfortable. He did look a
Hmm.
lot more comfortable in that new system. They could still use some corner help. The Packers wasn't really working with much, especially without Lazard there and Devontae being in Las Vegas now. But in the shoot, A Rod, you could tell he doesn't really have much to work with or guys that he trusts, especially early on when the Watson kid drops the touchdown early on. You could tell. I think Aaron Rodgers, head eye roll and head going back. He was pissed off, bro.
Yeah.
So you could tell he doesn't really have much to work with. I will still um, hold on to my courage and my conviction and say that Romeo Dobbs will end up being wide receiver one by the end of the year.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with anything that you said. I think this game was pretty easy, but I want to point out something that, for me personally, I found to be weird and I don't get, and it irritates me. I don't understand why teams are paying these corners so much money when they don't put them on the best receiver.
To
I
travel,
didn't,
yeah.
I like forget if you're playing man the whole time. Even if you're playing zone, I want Jair Alexander on Justin Jefferson's side. I don't understand what the point of paying these corners 19 to 20 million dollars per year for them to like guard like no like
Brother,
I
brother,
I
I
don't
swear when y'all was hitting
understand
the
it.
group chat talking about how he was going off, that was one of my first thoughts. I was like, damn, is Jair playing? I'm like, well, how is he just doing that like that?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna go rewatch. That might be my first game. I'm gonna go rewatch.
I'm telling you, like They barely matched up, and when they did, who knew? Jeddah didn't go off as much. Who knew?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you got anything else on this game, brother?
No, that game was simple.
Sunday night recap, man. Ugly game, 19-3. GOAT wins. Brady destroys, takes down the Dallas Cowgirls. Dak is hurt. It looks like the season might be over already for the Cowboys. Jerry Jones,
I know, like it's over.
yeah, it's over. Jerry Jones comes out after the game and says that Dak needs surgery for his thumb. So he's definitely out a few weeks. I seen somebody even say he's out indefinitely. I'm not sure. I didn't hear that, but I seen a tweet that said that. So I'm not sure about that. But I know Jerry said he will be having surgery and be out a few weeks. So their season is over with because they had a pretty tough schedule, I believe.
Well, a few things. Shout out to Leonard Fournette. I think he
Big Lynn.
answered those questions about him coming into camp and could he get in shape and all that, which he clearly did. Number two, for me, Micah Parsons was the best player on the field for either team. For me personally, I thought that was very easy to see. Um,
Yeah, he was
the
flashy.
Cowboy, like
He was
even
flashy.
with Dak going forward, this
That O line is bad.
that the O line is bad. The
Brady
offense
O
as a
line ain't much
whole
better either,
just
brother.
no,
Brady,
part and partial is because Micah Parsons is just a game wrecker.
yeah.
Um, but CeeDee Lamb is going to get a all those people
Oh
who think
shit.
he's this top 10 guy already or should be or like could have been doing what like Jed is doing, he's going to find out really quick how much harder it is when you have the number one corner on you and
It's
not
gonna
the
it's
two
gonna
and
look
three.
like how Juju looked when he lost AB.
Yeah, a little bit. I think he has more overall ability than him, so like it'll look a little better, but he's gonna learn. Especially now with Dak out too, he's definitely gonna learn. Um,
Yeah.
CD Lamb, I think anybody coming out for that year had either him or Jerry Judy number one, which both look like obviously were
I
very
like
wrong.
I liked CD coming out. Maybe it's because he's with
I did
the
too.
Cowboys, but I'm not seeing it there. Yeah, I'm not seeing it
I
there.
did too.
I think he may be a guy that needs a new situation, brother.
I did too, but I want to also say this, and I don't want to, and I hate when people do lazy takes like this, but I think this is part and parcel because when Oklahoma skill players outside of Joe Mixon really come into the league, I think that Big 12 stuff, especially with like Bruce receivers, this is more difficult to scout, man, because they don't play any defense in the Big 12. I think CD is a really good player, but where he was probably projected to be and where he is right now currently, that doesn't mean he won't get better and like change things. But right now, he's more of a number two than he is a one.
Yeah, and I'm shocked. I thought that the Tampa Bay's front is elite, but I still thought that Dallas will at least attempt to run it a little more with Zeke. They didn't do that.
And I thought Zeke, I mean, just
Looked a
from
little
like
smaller,
oh yeah, he
but he
is.
looked quick. They say he looked quicker, but I thought he looked a little smaller for sure. That's what I seen.
He definitely looks smaller, but I thought like when he played, I mean, he's not the Zeke of old, but like from like what he's been, like he looked better just as
Okay.
like a runner because they had like a little bit more pop. But that offense for the Dallas Cowboys, it looks all sorts of out of whack. I didn't get what they were doing at all. Um, so yeah, that was definitely an interesting showing for them.
My ooh. my last point on that game. I told Cats a few weeks ago. Julio is not washed. Okay, he just got to be healthy. And I seen
His
that today.
hamstrings are washed.
He ran right past Brown. He ran right past his
Hmm.
ass. He can still run. Okay, so stop disrespecting my guy. And it's early in the season. This is the best Julio you gonna get. So you might as well appreciate it while you see it now. He can still run by guys while he's still healthy for now. Got anything else on that, brother? We good?
No, because I love the way that Carlton Davis looked, but again, he was playing CD Lamb, so I don't know.
Got you. Who you got in that Monday night game, man? Broncos or Seahawks, and what's your score?
I got the Broncos. I think it's going to be a close game early, but then I do think the Broncos pull away late.
I'm gonna go 34. Ooh. I'm gonna go 34-14. I say Gino and the company can get two on the board. Maybe
I
four.
did want to say in the 30s for the Broncos, but I'm going to go a little bit more conservative just because everything is so new. I'm going to go more so 27-13. Um,
I like that one.
I,
I like that one.
yeah, like I think Gino will play solid, but ultimately I do think Russ is going to cook at some point. I just think there's going to be a lot of newness, and it's probably not going to be as much fireworks as what people think.
Yeah, I need Russ to throw two touchdowns tomorrow, and I'm good for a couple of my player props. So cash
Yeah.
in for me, Russ. Let Russ cook tomorrow. I actually got. Let me see. I'm down right now in one of these fantasy leagues. So not ours, but another one. I'm down 4 points right now, and both got two people to play. He got He got Javante Williams, your guy, and then he got the
Mhm.
Broncos kicker. I got the Broncos, and then I got Russ and I got Sutton. I need Russ and Sutton to cook. I need Russ to hit Sutton for one tug. I need him to hit
Yeah,
him for at
easy.
least one. Yeah.
That's
And
easy.
yeah, I'm gonna win that. I ain't worried about that. Especially if Russ cook, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
I think especially Williams or Gordon, either one or both of them, they can get off too. But I think at the end of the day, especially with him going back to Seattle, Russ is trying to cook, bro. Russ is trying to cook
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Yeah. You got anything else, brother? Or we good?
For that game now.
I think that was all the game. You got any other games?
No. Um, I'm looking forward to next week though, because football's finally back, and I'm stoked,
Yeah, man.
man.
We'll dive in. We'll give I was thinking maybe live. Wanna go live this week or something? We'll figure it out.
Sure,
But we'll
sure.
definitely give them. We'll definitely have Friday pick'ems out this week. We kind of clipped it up last week for you guys, but we'll have a full pod out by this Friday with our picks for this week two's games. All right.
Player
So
props
like
this week were tough, man.
yeah. Hey, for me, like I said, I cashed in better on my player props than my team ones, but that was I missed all by one because of fucking Niners. But like and follow and subscribe to the Huddle on YouTube to our YouTube channel and follow us on all platforms, social media at Twitter and Instagram at the 510 Huddle and at the 510H. Thank you.
Thank you. Later.
We play for keeps, Cuddy. You ain't heard about the huddle fire with no with D-Lane. We tryna get it off the muscle. Walters caught the pick and ran it back without a tussle. Blow the whistle, coach is trying to get back to the huddle.
Welcome to the